Well, good morning. Thanks for being here. I appreciate all you guys' support, and we always look forward to seeing you guys out here to check us out. But it's an exciting time to be a Hilltopper. This is our first day of practice. Our guys reported last night, and we're excited to take the field. We believe we had a great summer. Our head strength coach, Justin Lovett, did a great job with our guys. They worked extremely hard. They put in a lot of time and effort, and we think we got a lot accomplished. And we're looking forward to getting out there today, having a great fall camp, and getting ready for this first opening game come the last Friday of August. We're excited about joining the new conference. It's definitely going to be a challenge for us. We're looking forward to earning our respect, and we're going to have competitive games every single week, and our guys know that, but that's what college football is all about, and that's how you become the best. I think that we have a good nucleus of guys coming back. We had a very good spring, and even though we'll have some youth on the defensive side of the ball, I think our guys will be up to the challenge. They worked extremely hard, and I think they'll do a very good job. So, right now our guys are completely focused on getting better at schematically what we do on both sides of the ball, getting in the best physical shape as they can, being able to play and be well conditioned throughout the entire camp, and especially ready for the first game is very important. So we'll make sure that we get in the very best condition we possibly can and get as many guys ready to play as we can as well, because we want to play a lot of guys on both sides of the ball, keep guys fresh, and have our best guys out there. We feel like the first game coming up is the only game right now on our mind on the schedule, and it's going to be a very tough game. We, as you guys know, we opened against the reigning MAC champions. They went to a bowl game. They got the quarterback back, who's a very good player, and they're picked to finish first in their conference. So it's going to, and they have some new coaches that bring the Baylor-style offense, and that's something you have to prepare for, which we are. So it's going to be exciting. We know the first game is our toughest game of the year and the only game in our mind on the schedule, and that's the game we're going to prepare for and get ready to try to go win. From here, we'll take any questions. Yes, sir.
Jeff, I know you're preparing for the season. You said you're preparing for that first game, but do you really have plays already scripted for maybe the first 4 games?
Well, that's something we've done for a long time here. It's not something I invented. We did with Coach Petrino, and we definitely take the first 4 games of the season and do a preliminary game plan in the summer, and even though we've looked at them in the spring as well, but definitely in the summer we do a preliminary game plan and have an idea of what we're going to do, and sometimes you even go beyond that once you get into your conference play and pick a few teams that you really want to try to beat. But so we definitely have a plan ready for Bowling Green. The first part of camp, we won't be focused on that. We'll be focused on our own getting better ourselves, our own offense, defense, special teams, and improving our play and getting to know it like it's the back of our hand. And we're looking forward to doing that. And that's really the most important is being able to play fast and being able to execute your system. But at the same time, you got to know what you're getting yourself into. But we definitely have that plan ready, and we'll, of course, revisit it and redo it and tweak it here and there. But, yes, we are prepared for the first game and looking forward to it.
Jeff, with Leon Allen, can you break down what are his strengths and maybe what are some of the things he needs to improve upon?
Well, we really like Leon Allen. We think that he's a running back that's been sitting in the wings waiting his turn and probably hasn't been too happy about it the last couple of years. He's just played a little bit here and there, but he played behind a great back who was very productive, obviously, very durable, and did a tremendous job for us and carried the load. He was the main guy on our offense last year. Leon has had a great spring. He's worked harder in the spring and summer than I've noticed him working the year before. I think he knows now is his time and needs to take advantage of it. But he is a big, strong running back with very good speed. So he has the strength, he has the speed, he has the size. We believe he has very good hands as well. He has a pretty good grasp of what we're doing. And if we can keep him fresh and he can go hard and we can give him 15 to 20 carries a game, I think he'll be very productive, and he'll be a big component of our offense and probably could be one of our most talented guys on the offensive side of the ball.
Coach, what are you kind of expecting from the incoming freshmen that came in this summer, how they've kind of adjusted to campus life and workouts and everything like that, and what are your expectations from them in the fall as well?
Well, our freshmen have been here all summer, and we felt like we had a good recruiting class when we signed it, in February, and felt good about the guys, because a lot of them we knew very well. Got to see them in camp, got to know them very well, got to know their coaches well, got to go to their schools a lot, got to be around them quite a bit, more so than normal. And then in the summer, they've been very good, probably exceeded our expectations. We think we have some very good speed, which is hard to get, guys that can really run. When we timed our guys in early July, there were some very good times, better than some of our starters. But they're young. They need to add some strength, some experience, get to know the offense, try to get a feel for college football and the speed of the game. But we definitely like their athleticism and their speed. And we think that they're all very good kids as well. They've done a great job of doing things the right way. They've done a good job of going to the classroom and taking care of business there, and they've done a very good job off the field as well. So we like the character of them also, and think that they're going to end up being very good players for us.
You got a chance to look at the preseason rankings, but ultimately, how successful do you think this team can be in the Conference USA?
Well, we understand that, we're a newcomer to the conference. We're going to have to earn our respect. And there's some teams in the conference that have been there a while, and they have a rich history and tradition of winning. They know what it takes to win in this league, and some teams have had successful years even in the past year and going to bowl games and beating very good teams. So it's going to be a challenge for us. We feel like the conference is a great conference to be in. There's a lot of stability now where we're at. There's a lot of opportunities if we succeed and do well, so there's a lot of motivation to win. But we also understand that every week it's going to be extremely tough, and we got to just take it one game at a time. And I know you hear that a lot, but we have to do that and focus on that, becoming the best players and team we can be. And if we can do that, I think we'll have a chance in the fourth quarter to win these games and hopefully pull some out.
Yeah, Coach, being the third head coach in 3 seasons, been able to bond with the team yet, establish any kind of team identity yet, team personality?
Well, I think that part's gone extremely well. I've gotten to know all of our players very well over the last 6 months, got to spend a lot of time with them. And to be honest with you, as a position coach, when you just coach one side of the ball in one position, you really don't know all the players. You kind of know their names, but you don't really know much about them. So that's been very interesting. I've actually liked it. I think the players have responded well. I think they feel like we have a lot of continuity on the staff with a lot of our coaches back, basically the same system on both sides of the ball and special teams that we had last year, so the familiarity comes very easy, and I think they feel comfortable knowing what we're all about, what we expect, and what we have to do to win.
Coach, you talked about being young on defense this year. What's going to be the biggest challenge getting the guys up to speed come week 1?
Well, we need to practice and play as hard as we can every day in practice and put us in as much game-like situations as we can once we get going. And we try to do that in the spring quite a bit, but at the same time, we got to pick it up again this fall, really get our guys to play fast, understand the system where they can just go out there and use their athletic ability and react. But we like the talent that we have on defense. Did we lose some star power with Andrew Jackson, Jonathan Daly, Xavier Boyd, even Barry Boyd, and a few of those guys? Yeah, those are very, very good players, without question. And those guys are in NFL camps right now with the chance to make a team, which is great for our program. So, our guys have to work to that level. We may not have anybody at that level right now, but our guys are close. We feel like we do have depth, even though we don't have a lot of experience, so we feel like we can play 22-plus guys on defense. They got a ton of reps in the spring, and we think that if one guy doesn't get it done and he's not fresh, we can put another guy in behind him and really not have much of a drop-off. So that's exciting to us, but we still have to prove ourselves and see where we're at, but we feel like we have a good nucleus of young guys that are hungry and ready to go out there and perform.
Coach, historically, teams that have been coached by Coach Petrino, the year after he leaves, they haven't had a lot of success. They've really sort of had a drop-off. You've experienced that at times as well. How do you go about making sure that something like that doesn't happen here?
Well, without question, when you follow a guy like him, it's a tough path to follow. I understand that. So trust me, we've tried to do everything we can. I've tried to do everything I can to make sure that that doesn't happen. But he's an outstanding coach. So, I feel like we're in good position right now. I think we're in good shape. I think that the continuity that we've had and the things we're doing are very similar to what we've done last year. So it's not like you're bringing in new guys and doing completely new things, because that sometimes changes things up on them as well. I think that, they feel like we're continuing to improve upon the systems we had last year with just a few new coaches plugged in. So I think that adjustment hasn't been very big for them. But at the same time, last year we had our ups and downs. We had a huge win to start the season off, and then we're 1-2 and lost at least one of those games we probably shouldn't have. And then we found a way to get to 4-2, and then we lost 2 games at home that we probably shouldn't have, and we're 4-4 at one point, and the season could have gone either way. We regrouped, found a way to win the last 4. 2 of them we had to drive 90-plus yards to win at the end. We feel like our defense was outstanding last year and helped us win some of those games, to be honest with you, that we may not have won without them. So it's a team effort. The conference will be a little tougher week in and week out, so that's a challenge as well. But, that's college football, but we're looking forward to it.
Coach, I've noticed Western seems to continue to add in-state recruits, and a lot from the Louisville area. Is that going to be part of your recruiting strategy to try to keep those guys, and especially in Louisville, to come here to Western?
Well, we have a definite strategy in place, and we feel very good about it. And we think we've had a lot of success with it last year, and then we've tweaked it just a tad bit this year. We feel like we've had great success so far. Of the guys we signed last year, there were 10 in-state guys that we had, but all 10 of them we like. And they've this summer have showed us that they're very good players, and we like each and every one of them. So we're going to continue to recruit the 2 to 3 hour radius of Bowling Green, Kentucky, which is probably going to include a lot of Kentucky. And luckily for us, as coaches, we know a lot of the coaches, we know a lot of the teams, the history of those teams, a lot of the players on the teams, their parents, their uncles, their brothers. So there's a lot of familiarity, and so there's really probably not going to be too many stones unturned for us within this 2 hour plus radius, because we know so much about them. And we've had a plan to make sure that we found out everything we can about them, and if someone's good enough to play, then we want them here. Now, with that said, we're going to continue to go down south, get the best players we possibly can, recruit the fastest guys and the best players we can, but we definitely want to build the team around a nucleus of guys that are familiar with this area. They're going to take a lot of pride in playing for their home state school or a very nearby school that they're familiar with, their family can come to, their friends, and we think that means a lot to them. And I tell people all the time, when you look at Kentucky, University of Kentucky, University of Louisville, and when they've been very successful, they've built it around in-state players. When you take Tim Couch and Craig Yeast and those guys, they were very, very good. When you take Andre Woodson and Derek Homer, they were very, very good. You can take Jared Lorenzen, they were very, very good, all in-state quarterbacks. In Louisville, of course, with Michael Bush, Brian Brown, Chris Redmond, Mario Rita, they were very good as well. So, we feel like we're going to always explore that. Every year is going to be different, but we want to make sure we don't bypass anybody if we think they can play.
Any more questions?
Yes, sir.
Just one more briefly about adding Greg to the staff here. What does that mean to you? What does he bring?
Well, Greg brings a lot, and he's a guy that has done it for 5+ years as a director of football operations at a high level. He has a lot of experience not only doing that, but in the game of football. His desire is to be the best helper and director of operations he possibly can be, and he's extremely bright. He's one of those guys that knows how to relate to people, he knows how to talk to people, he knows how to organize, he knows how to bring ideas to the table. And I kid people all the time, he's one of those guys that We went back and looked at his test scores back in high school when you used to take the ACT and SAT, which back then I didn't know what the test was. You just showed up and took it and saw what your score was. You know, we went back and looked at his, and he got a 36 on the math part, 34 overall. And then he's one of those guys in Trivial Pursuit where he'll answer every question right you possibly can put out there. And sometimes you're like, how in the world do you know that? So he's got a very sixth sense of intelligence that really is hard to come by, but he puts it to use. He does a great job. He likes being here. He's a hard worker. All the people around here like him, and he'll bring a lot to the table.
What do you expect out of Brandon this season as a player and as a leader on this team?
Well, we think a lot of Brandon, and we think he'll be an outstanding leader. You know, he's a guy that throws the ball very accurately. He has a great handle of the offense. He can manage things very well. He can process information. And if things go extremely well and the play is open just like it's supposed to, he's going to execute it as well as anybody. So he does a very good job at that. You know, at times last year he struggled with some interceptions, as we all know, and not finding ways to get completions and throw it away or get yards with his feet. So, you know, we identified his weaknesses right in the middle of the season, you know, after he was benched, and we tried to replace him with a few other guys that didn't work out, and then we worked extremely hard every single day and every day after practice trying to get better at those. And those were, you know, one, not turning the ball over and throwing it to the other team, finding ways to buy time in the pocket when the play isn't there, to either allow receivers to get open or to allow himself to run and get yards. But those are things that every good quarterback has to do. Everything isn't going to be work the way it's drawn up on the board, so you've got to find ways to make it work. And that may be sometimes just getting back to the line of scrimmage and moving on for the next play or throwing it away. So he worked extremely hard on it. I believe the last 4 games he did much better at those things. He even got us some yards with his feet. He extended the play at times. He didn't turn the ball over as much. And even with that, 2 games we barely won. So those are things he has to do, our quarterback has to do for us to win. And if you want to win at a high level, the quarterback has to execute, manage the game, take care of the ball, and be a great leader as well. But we think that he's worked extremely hard. He's had a good summer, and he's looking forward to having a great year.
Coach, you talked about the receivers there, and with a lot of JUCO guys coming in, you've got a lot of depth and a lot of experience at that receiver position. How assuring is that to you that you know that you've got many guys that can come in and step in when needed to?
Well, we definitely feel like we improved the receiver position. That was a top priority. And through the junior college ranks, we signed a couple guys that came in the spring. We thought they gave us some size, some strength at that position, which we didn't have, and we think they'll be very good players for us. We played some true freshmen last year that had their ups and downs, but that's all a part of adjusting to college football. We think they had an excellent spring as well, and we're looking for them to do big things as well. And obviously Willie was one of our most consistent guys last year. He's back. Joel German was another guy who was our best third down receiver, got hurt midway through the year and didn't play a whole lot after that. He's back. So we do feel like we have some depth. And like I said, I believe a lot of the positions on our team, we have a little more depth than we had, and we're going to rotate those guys and keep them fresh. We're going to work them all. We want them all to be a part of the game plan, to feel like they're extremely involved in the offense and defense. And when you do that and more people feel a part of it, your guys play faster, they play harder, and when they do get tired, you got someone else to come in that can play just as well as them. And they understand that if they're only going to be at 99%, then let's get somebody else in there behind you who can play better than you when they're going full speed. So that's what we tried to work at, is creating depth all spring, all summer. Now we'll continue to do it in the fall, creating depth at all the positions, especially those where they have to run a lot and make plays, run up and down the field. If we can do that and keep them fresh, they'll make more plays for us. Yes.
Jeff, I assume you're going to be the one calling the plays?
Yes, I'll be the one calling the plays. We've added Tyson Hilton as our offensive coordinator, does a tremendous job. We hired him from Cincinnati, and they had a very good program, and he wanted to come here, which says a lot about him. I had the chance to coach with him before. He's a former quarterback in college. He coached at Hawaii with Gene Jones and was in that offense for a long time. His brother's the offense coordinator at USC. His dad's a former head coach in college and offensive line coach in the NFL. So football family. He loves the game. He does a great job talking in front of our kids, making them understand what we're trying to do. And I feel like we got a great addition with him, and he'll do a tremendous job helping the offense.
What would you say this team's biggest weakness is, and what is the one thing that you're going to focus on mostly during the training camp?
Well, weakness-wise, I don't know. I guess you could say we have some inexperience on the defensive side of the ball. I don't necessarily see it quite as a weakness right now. We feel good about where we're at. But, as far as losing some elite players, we did do that. So, our guys have to pick their play up, their level of play up, and really every year you're going to have guys emerge and take the place of other guys that played well, and we feel like that'll happen this year as well. What was the last part of your question?
What's the biggest thing you're going to focus on during training camp?
Well, we've identified a couple things on both sides of the ball of keys to helping us win games, and our guys understand them. We worked hard on them in the spring. We've worked hard in the summer on them as much as you can, and when we get out here with some more live bullets, that's when you can really work on things like not turning the ball over, executing in the red zone, on defense, getting off the field on third downs, which we did not do a good job of last year. Creating turnovers is always important, and stopping guys, inside the red zone on defense as well to at least a field goal is huge. So, those are just some of the things we've identified, but our guys know what we need to work on, not only as a unit, also as a team, and also individually, and it's something that we're going to work hard at, and if we can individually get better and then collectively get better as a team, that's when you can execute and win ball games.
Anything else? All right.
Okay, thanks for coming.
Take a